Okay, welcome back. Episode 8, the full English. Little bit different this weekend because we've got League 1 and League 2 and some FA Cup fixtures, but also there is some international football taking place. England obviously played Wales last night and comfortably, I would say, without getting out the second gear.
Dry humped them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a strange one in terms of, I expected a bit more from Wales, if I'm honest. Craig Bellamy's done a steady job there, got a bit of belief back in that kind of Welsh football team, and they're coming in, with a little bit of confidence. And knowing Bellamy, I would imagine they'd been coming in, with a bit of belief. They said they weren't going to change anything, whether they played Belgium or whether they played England. Yeah. It's going to be, the same kind of preparation for them. But obviously, Craig will have to look at that again this morning because, they were 2-0 down after, 10 minutes or something like that, and chasing the tail.
I think the first, just looking at it from like a tactical look on the whole way Wales set up, for me, it looked like there was just too many bodies involved and no one doing anything. It was like all fart, no poo for Wales. They were just, they were just...
Go through the team.
Yeah.
There's no Gareth Bale now to pull them out the fire. They're just poor. Let's be honest. You look through the side, go through the Wales side, player by player, compared to the England side, and I don't think that's anywhere near England's best team.
No, it's not.
With the greatest respect to them, there's a lot of them. There's not one player from Wales who'd get in the England squad. Never mind the team.
Not Brennan Johnson, no.
Brennan Johnson won't get in the England squad, lad. Get anywhere near it. He's sub for, doing all right.
He's doing
like
all right.
He's
Spurs. Good. I know what you mean. Squad player for Spurs, he is, you're right.
Lad, he's quick, he's a decent, he's done all right to be fair to him, but come on, he's fucking not getting, who's he getting ahead of, Saka or Anthony Gordon?
No, he's not.
No. And then you've got lads who, I don't even think that's anywhere near.
More up front, I don't know why he's still playing footy, to be honest.
Concert at right back, Jed Spence at left back. I tell you what I didn't like. And I know he's done the Stevie Wonder interview, and I kind of like the fact that he's got masses of belief in himself, even though, when Spurs are finishing 17th or whatever, I think it's, and you hadn't started every minute, things are a little bit misguided. But when it pans down the camera, especially after the nonsense going on this week, and people aren't singing the national anthem, if you watch the Italy national anthem, or the Argentina national anthem, you see what it means to them people. Now, when you're playing for England, and I get you want to be fucking dead cool, and I get you want to be different, saying you're the first Muslim player, which is bollocks, let's be honest.
Yes.
Because you're Jamaican, so you're born Jamaican or born in England to Jamaican parents or whatever. You're not born Muslim, so I know you're trying to claim to be the first Muslim player, but you're not. So that's like me getting in the England side and then saying, you know what, I'm a Mormon now. And they're going, the first Mormon ever to play for England. And you're going, no, you've converted on the road to Damascus here. You've converted. You're not born. Now, if you were born in an Islamic country and your parents were believed in Islam, and then you got in the England team, I go, yeah, right, that's the first Muslim. But just because you acquire this religion on the way to becoming an England international doesn't mean you're the first. In my book, I don't even see him as the first Muslim to play for England.
I know what you mean.
I just think it's a mad claim from him.
I know what you mean. It is a mad claim, but that's kind of like Jed Spence in a nutshell, isn't it? But I actually think I actually really like him as a player. I think he's a very good player.
But again, yeah, I don't think he's a bad player. But I also don't think he's as good as what he thinks he is.
For all
I suppose that's everybody, so I'm not having a pop at him for that. You've got to have incredible belief, probably beyond your ability to be who you are. There's no knocking him for that. My thing is he's got this, this kind of way about him, as if he...
Like a fake aura.
Yeah, and I can see him being one of these people who, further down the line, gets into a few scrapes and that fucking nonsense is just himself. Completely... No, just not... It's not... It doesn't feel genuine. It feels like he's trying really hard to be something or somebody instead of just being a player and allowing your playing to do the talk. And it feels like, and I get this with a lot of modern players now, it's almost like you've got to kind of be seen to be doing this. Now, there's lots to like about, what Islam teaches for professional football. No drinking, no eating shite, because you're not eating pork or ham or sausages or not
processed.
You know what I mean? But the fasting and all that, there is some benefits from short-term fasting. We've seen lots of papers written on intermittent fasting or short-term fasting. For the whole month, I'm not necessarily sure that's a good thing for a professional athlete, but we have to make allowances for that. But on the other side of that, you know, if you're going to be unbelievable footballer, and and I see loads of them, and I would imagine I'm actually going to put Jed in the same thing, because I don't know him that well, so I can't put him in there. But there's loads of lads I've seen who've practiced Islam along the way, and let me tell you now, to call them hypocrites would be an understatement to hypocrites. They pick and choose, which is most people in most organised man in the sky religions.
Of course it is.
They pick and choose which bits work for them, and they turn bits up that they need and turn bits down that they need. No, I don't mind that, but I do mind it when you're out there pretending to be something that you're not. That's the
difference, yeah.
So if that's who you are, like Khabib, for instance, is a devout Muslim. If that's who you are and that's how you live your life, absolutely no problem with that. There's a lot to like about, that discipline and that dedication to something, even if you do feel it is slightly misguided because it's, a warlord from the 7th century who is obviously marrying a 6-year-old and sleeping with a 9-year-old. But again, people will argue, well, that was the time. At the time, that was the way it goes. But also, if you go back to the BBC, and we're going to speak about the BBC, and you go, oh yeah, well, top of the pops, Jimmy Savile, that's what everyone used to. Yeah, well, is it? But he's just still a nonce in my book. Still a wrong one. So at the end of the day, I do accept that there's different times in different parts of the world, but also, let's be honest, it's 2025. We can't be going back to a fucking Bedouin fucking warrior travelling through the desert saying this is how you live. And if you don't do this, this is how you're going to fucking end up. No, sorry. On the other side of that, we do have some data because we have, hallelujah, praise the Lord, the one true religious book. The one that is full of facts, full of data. Obviously, it's
full of shit.
That is full of facts.
It's full of shit.
It's got lots of historical facts in it. I'm not saying I necessarily believe it, but there is a lot in there that is based on historical fact.
You still fully believe in Noah's Ark was like a vessel what got all the animals, or not?
I don't just say things willy-nilly. So you get into Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock, which is Ancient Apocalypse, if you watch a documentary on Netflix, who talk about the North American polar ice cap being hit by a meteorite shower in about 11,000, 12,000 BC, which is known as the Younger Dryas impact theory. Yeah. There's lots of stuff there. I won't bore you with the detail, but there's lots of stuff there in the geological records that point to a meteorite hitting the North American ice cap and sending a biblical level of water further down the chain, which has wiped out every single civilization in its path, because it would be the essence of a mega tsunami. Yeah. Obviously, what happens after that then is, because of the cosmic impact, the clouds, you remember the volcanic ash cloud when all the planes in Iceland, when all the planes were down? Well, obviously that on a global scale, where the skies have been blackened because of years. I don't think it was for years.
Crops, I don't think it was. Crops,
well, it was months. I don't know whether it was years. I'll have to go back and have a look at it. But it was certainly a prolonged period of time that made everything on the planet suffer. Obviously, pockets of civilization still managed to survive, and that we're still here today. But lots of the technologies and lots of the information has obviously not survived the cataclysmic event. So what I'm saying to you is, we know floods, and every single civilization...
Is it a metaphor then?
Every single civilization, or most of the civilizations that are recorded, they talk about, even I was reading something about the Incas the other day, this Quetzalcoatl comes out the finger with all these answers and all these, this is how you plant, and this is where the sun, because he'd come up after this flood, the Noah's, the Christian version of it. Now, do I think there's been a boat with 2 of every single animal on it? No, of course there hasn't.
But it's just a kind of a metaphor.
But I think they have actually found the chassis of a boat, haven't they, up on Mount Arafat, is it? Right? So there's a boat being found, a giant boat being found at the time of carbon date up on Mount Arafat. Now, it wouldn't have been able to carry 2 of every animal species, but what they're saying is that that wasn't the case. It was carrying animal species that they were connected to. So obviously, whatever they'd managed to domesticate at that point, and we're getting into now, and I don't really want to get into this because it's a conversation for another day, but we're getting into now the Yannick Hawara, Noah Hawara or something like that, who wrote is it Sapiens, the book? Who talks about the Fertile Crescent and obviously the Middle East and the Mediterranean there being the Fertile Crescent, where there was, say, 8 animals that could be domesticated to be cattle, and obviously 5 of them lived in the area naturally. There was also 14 types of grass that could be cultivated for us to go from barbarians to hunter-gatherers, to be able to sit and plant and grow crops on the land. And of the 14 grasses that were available on Earth at the time, 11 grew in the Fertile Crescent. So this is why Jerusalem, we're seeing even to this day, the Al-Aqsa Mosque is what everyone's fighting over. The area of Israel, the area of Jerusalem, and the biblical and the historic holy sites there is what humanity have fought over pretty much as long as we've recorded humanity, from the Babylonian Empire invading and obviously Gilgamesh or whatever it was, into the modern day era where we've got Israel on that part of the land. And obviously we've got an insurgence from Gaza and the Muslim world to try and take that part of the world back.
just a bit.
So what that points at is, for me, something's gone on in the past. Now I think when you look at the pyramids and you look at everything to do with it, I think civilization is hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years older than what we thought it was. Don't get me started on this. Now you've gone into a thingy here, because I told you, the only difference between human beings and all the higher primates is chromosome 2 and chromosome 7. So at chromosome 2, we've been fused. Nobody knows who's done it.
Yeah, that's it.
And on chromosome 7, the one that comes, which is to do with your vocabulary, which is chromosome 7, has been altered. So there's 2 chromosomes that have been altered. Chromosome 2 and chromosome 7. Yeah. Chromosome 7 is the one that allows us to make music and to sing and to use our voice in the way that we do in our vocabulary.
I haven't got chromosome 7.
I might have half of that chromosome, but it depends how many pints I've had. I get a bit more confident on the singing. But what I'm saying to you is, something's gone on there. Now, who knows what that is? Some people will argue that's the gods or God. Some people will argue that's evolution.
It's being found.
Some people will argue that's a civilization from another planet.
It's been proven chromosome 2 cannot be evolution, because the position where it's fused in the chromosomes in the middle or something.
Okay, so we're now looking at aliens or gods.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, aren't aliens and gods basically the same thing going back in time?
Yeah, I've just downloaded the Book of Enoch. I was listening to Joe Rogan.
That's the full English.
and yeah, this is the full English, but the Book of Enoch is obviously something that's been deleted out the Ethiopian Bible, which it was deleted by the canons in Europe because it was seen as too balmy for people to believe. But it talks about people coming out the sky, breeding with humans, etc. It makes a lot more sense to the chromosomes than what the Bible does or what any religious text of does. But I encourage you, this is the full English. Go and do your own research on that. I'm in the middle of the Book of Enoch at the minute. So let's get back to the footy. For me, at the weekend, League 1 and League 2, I'm looking at it going, I haven't involved ChatGPT yet because I'm going to try and do this on my own. But I'm going goals across. I'm going to go goals this weekend.
Over 2.5 or 1.5?
I don't know whether I'm going to do the 1.5s or 2.5s, obviously, depending which way you go. I'll probably do these 6 teams in both. Sorry, 7 teams. So I'm going to do Burton Bolton. I'm going to do Stockport against Blackpool. And I'm going to do Wigan against Wickham. So I'm going to go goals in them games. And then I've got Bristol Rovers against MK. I think there'll be goals there. Chesterfield, Salford. I think there'll be goals there. And Grimsby, Colchester. I think there'll be goals there. International football, I'm going to stay out of it this weekend.
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm going to stay out of it just because I don't feel that there's any value in it. Like, you don't know.
Well, I had a bet last night. I done a ChatGPT one last night. Both teams to score over 2.5 in 4 of the games. It didn't get even. One of the games was 0-0.
Yeah,
so it's just too hard.
For me, it's a strange old weekend in terms of, you're picking out like 1 to 12, aren't you? Like Portugal to play Ireland. Portugal will be 1 to 12.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what's the point?
But will Ireland score?
Well, what is the point? What's the point in that? Like, you know what I mean? It's not even worth having them in your coupon. It's like when you put Celtic in, you go, what's the point?
Yeah, because I can
you end up having a right sweat on.
Over Celtic.
For nothing.
Bang your coupon for not much value.
Coupon busters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know whether you've seen this last night, but there was a lot of noise from Tuchel about how silent the stadium was, and obviously the stadium was emptied way before the end of the game, which is bizarre when you're winning 3-0.
Half time, I seen loads didn't come back down.
Yeah, but that's all the prawn sarnies. They'll all be getting the scoff, won't they?
You've got to come back down. No, I mean, I was on like 58 minutes or so, and
they're not there for the footy. They're there for the fucking day out in the nose bag. They've got as much as wine you can drink and a big fucking scoff coming with fucking sticky toffee pudding. They're going, fuck, that's already 3-0. They're not bothered about England against Wales.
They're not. You're right, they're not.
But then Tuchel's come out and said about obviously the noise in the stadium and the fan, and Wembley always feels a bit forced it's obviously pricey, or a lot more pricey in London than it is in the rest of the country. And I do genuinely believe, I know we moaned last time when they played at Villa Park, but I think the national team should tour. I don't think it should be a Wembley-based team. I think it should be a national team that travels the country.
They can't tour like what you're thinking, which is right, because of the cost of Wembley. How much it costs to build a gaff and what they got to do. They can't tour. They can't afford to tour.
Yeah, but it's the England national team, and for the England national team to represent the country, it should tour the country.
Exactly,
it
which
should
is
go.
right.
You know, we've got great games. We've got Etihad, Bramley Moore, great stadiums, Anfield, fucking Stadium of Light, St James's Park, Villa Park, etc. We've got some great stadiums around the country, and also, like, it's an England national team. It's not Wembley. It's not London team.
It's not. Well, that's what I'm saying. If England ever won the Euros, they should bring the Euros. Yeah, take it to London, take it to Birmingham, take it to Manchester, take it to Newcastle, and parade there. They won't, because it's England. They'll just keep it down south, which is the whole issue for years over England. It feels disjointed from the rest of the country. Hence why a lot of Liverpool fans.
Well, don't help it. Scouse not English. Nonsense, yous.
Well, that stems from that's completely different. That stems from the 80s and from the historic.
Yeah, but if we go to war tomorrow with fucking Russia,
yeah.
Are you going to say, sorry, mate, we're Scouse?
I'm identifying as a hermaphrodite or something tomorrow. If you go to war, I'm not going to fucking war. I can't go to war.
You won't get a choice in it. It'd be like COVID, lad.
I've got a sore leg.
Doesn't matter. It'd be like COVID. I mean, the thing is now, you get fucking disability allowances we're seeing for fucking ADHD, so, you probably could get a conscientious objection on anything. But I'm saying to you, like, at the end of the day, we all think that, and COVID taught you that no matter what you think, you'll be wrong. Because they will do whatever the fuck they want.
We know that, yeah.
They will do whatever they want. They'll lock you in the house. They'll take away everything from you. And they'll go, right, unless you do this, you're not... So I always thought, as an avid history fan, how would that happen? How would that ever happen? And COVID was the biggest thing that's ever happened to me in my life, a full seismic moment. And the more and more I think about it, the more and more I realise how much of an effect it had on me. Where they took away everything from you.
It did, but again, going back to Scouse not English thing, I used to have 2 season tickets at Wembley. I've had about 4 or 5 years we had them. Mum would go to the games, or like I'd go to the game, or we'd just take people to games and stuff. And it was because we're down there loads, so I may as well go, take a little weekend night out in it. And I remember being at the game once, and Joe Gomez got like booed to fuck him, a Scouse cunt and all this, and I was sitting there thinking, are these fucking mental? I mean, it's he's not a Scouser for the start, but he got absolutely lambasted, and then anti-Scouse songs, and we hate the Scousers, and booed him every time he got the ball, and you're thinking, you wonder why we don't fucking feel a part of this country, of this football team, when that's how you treat them.
But that's your attitude, though. Like I do. I'm a Scouser. All right, I'm a Scouser. I've always wanted England to win. I've never gone, I've never booed the national anthem. I kind of don't get that. I don't get that. I really, really don't get why you do that.
Well, it's historic.
I know, but I don't get why you do it. I'd like you're English. On your passport, you're United Kingdom, you're British, okay? I get God save the Queen, you're against the Queen. So why don't you, every time you get a £10 note or a £20 note, rip it up, or a £1 coin, lash it away, or...
Because we're hypocrites.
Well, again,
it's
all to do with Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill had a gunboat in the Mersey to break a strike, and obviously
it's not really to do with that.
Margaret Thatcher and all this, like the stuff that went around with that Tory government. Okay, but also that was a wrong from them, because they tried to fucking ostrich. If they could have cut Liverpool off and pushed it into the fucking Irish Sea, they would have done.
That was just that managed decline letter.
Okay, well. But that was let's say a 20, 30 year period, 40, 50 year period from a government that targeted. So, the Irish could have exactly the same gripe because of what the English government did in Ireland.
They could,
the a lot of the things that led to the causation of the famine. Now, at some point, for us all to move on, we have to go, okay, we're going to have to do things differently. Yeah. So I look at it and I go, well, we are English. If it kicks off tomorrow, whether you fucking like this or not, this is how I know what's coming down the track. This is what these people who think at this current moment that they're in some advantageous position, they're forgetting that they're settlers on our land. Okay? This is not their land. This is not their ancestral lands. They're not prepared to die for these lands. Now, if you come onto our lands, if somebody comes, like the Nazis tried to do in 1939 and 1940, where they're trying to breach the boundaries and the White Cliffs of Dover to get here, what they'll find is an incredibly determined population that for a very small island conquered the world. An island of absolute bona fide lunatics who are very, very tolerant up to a point, but the minute they cross over, a fury will be unleashed, of which the likes these people have never seen before. Now, they're getting a little bit giddy. I've seen a couple of them, well, come and do this, come and do, put your flags up here and do this, yeah. I'm going, I don't think you realise that the people who are doing that are maybe not the apex predators of the group of people that you could end up having a showdown with. And I've had another great message this week. A true fucking warrior, an SAS warrior, Christian Craighead's reached out saying he loves the show. So we've got Christian Craighead here and Tommy Aspinall over here. So if anybody fucking wants it, just fucking let us know. If anybody fucking wants to have the smoke with us, we'll be getting the SAS fella up and we're getting the world's hardest man, a world's hardest fucking fighter to fucking have a ding-dong with you. Because we've got to find a way of working together. I think everybody wants the same thing. They want the family to be safe and secure, and they want opportunities for themselves and the kids to do well in life and have a real feel-good factor. And know that if you're going away and doing something, that there's a safety to it.
Yeah.
That you don't have to, send your kid to a fucking dance recital in the summer and worry about some maniac who's been radicalised coming in there and attempting to chop their heads off in the midst of killing everyone he can get his hands on. So this is the thing, isn't it? So at what point do we sit down and have a sensible conversation about this? Because our political class are petrified that they'll lose votes if they mention the elephant in the room. Everybody knows what the elephant in the room is, right? Every single person with a fucking logical, rational thinking brain knows the elephant in the room. Now, if people are petrified to talk about it because they'll have votes taken away from them because they vote en masse, or that there'll be some kind of physical or violent retribution for it, then we are no longer living in a tolerant, safe society. We're no longer living in a democracy. If you're petrified that your words will lead to a consequence negative for you, then you're no longer living in a free democracy. Now, I'm all for tolerance. We need to be tolerant of other people's views and ideas and opinions because we don't always agree. Even on this show, many times before we talk, when we come on camera or when we're on camera, we definitely don't agree. Now, we show a level of tolerance to each other and then run a course of debate and discussion to try and understand each other better. And if you've practiced tolerance, okay, and then something happens and you decide to practice tolerance again, well, at that point, lads, that is not tolerance. That's now cowardice. Tolerance in the first instance is a great trait to have and will allow you masculine, kingly energy to come online where you may then make a good choice. If you face with tolerance and then something happens and you tolerate it again, you are now showing cowardice because you should be doing something about the thing that you've already been tolerant towards getting worse.
Yeah, that's
if
right.
you don't want to do that, then that's on you. But what I'm saying to you is, there's fucking millions of us who aren't in that boat anymore. We've been incredibly tolerant. We've been incredibly forgiving. We've tried to understand. But at this point now, it's not getting better. It's not solving the problem that we all know is the problem.
It's getting worse and worse and worse.
And when I see Hamza Yusuf come out and he starts talking about setting up a Muslim-only party because we're not doing X, Y, and Z, and we know that their religion is mixed in with an ideology. It's a political ideology intertwined with a religion. It's completely bespoke and different to every other religion that's gone before it, in the fact that it says, this is the final message. This is the last message. This doesn't say that. So lots of us believe in this, or lots of us believe in the tenets of this. Don't believe in it completely, but we believe in lots of the messages it sends. And in this book, at no point does it talk about committing the problems for society that other religious books talk about. So at some point, we can't just dress it up as, but that's not all of the Muslims. Because unfortunately, since 2001, we've had 44,000 terrorist attacks by people who read a certain comic, read a certain religious text. And if we don't, well, it is because that's the game, isn't it? That's people who've written it down. It's glorified comic.
It is.
It is. So it's whether we like it or not. And if we're not big enough and we're not sensible enough to have a serious conversation about it and how we handle it going forward, then unfortunately, it's only going to end one way.
No, you're right, yeah.
And the way it ends is the way it ends in every single way it's been ran before. Annihilation and bloodshed. And after it, someone's left standing, and those left standing are the ones who write the future. So we've got a huge problem in the UK, and it's come down the track to us here that, I don't know whether you've seen this, we had 2 Chinese people who were charged with espionage, spying.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'll get you the names here. The names of the fellas are Christopher Berry and Chris Cash.
Whoa.
Okay? The Prime Minister... So Keir Starmer faces questions today over the collapse of the China spy trial after it emerged that MI5 and MI6 and the government itself had all declared Beijing as a threat to national security. Keir Starmer's gone in and he's fucking said, no, it's not. They're not running it. So they've dropped the charges. We've got 2 Chinese, alleged Chinese spies, a guy called Christopher Berry and a guy called Christopher Cash. So this is from they got charged, designated threat to the UK between December 28th, 2021 and February the 3rd, 2023, when the offences, which Berry and Cash deny, were alleged to have taken place. So MI5, MI6 and the deep state want these people prosecuted, and Starmer and that have come in after the Tories were going to prosecute them, have come in and absolutely derail the fucking thing. So they do not want them prosecuted. Now this points exactly to what we were saying about the Chinese embassy and Starmer. They're intertwined. They've had a choice to make. You either align yourself to America or you align yourself to BRICS, which is Russia and China. I genuinely believe this Labour government, like every fucking Labour government, is
pushing towards.
It wants a version of communism that allows them to still be capitalist in the midst of it. So the fact that Starmer's gone in and gone against the intelligence agencies to try and get this kicked out is fucking embarrassing for our country. Okay? There's another thing that's happened, which I must talk about. I found out this week that 52, and I've got the list of the names here, 52 Labour councillors have been sacked for being caught with child pornography images. I've got the names of them here. I'll give them to Noah if he wants to put them in. But since...
What year is that? That's got...
Since
2024.
I don't know when it doesn't say when it's from. I haven't actually got the thing of when it's from, but I've got the names of 52 of them. Now they'll be the same on the Conservative, they'll be the same in the Greens, same in the Lib Dems. I'm not saying this is specifically,
isn't that scary?
But there's 52. But also when you see what they're in charge of,
like probably health and social care for youth.
So I'll give you an example here. I said to you,
names,
number 9, Labour Party councillor and school governor who was caught making 2,000 child rape images.
Fucking hell.
And then Labour council and school governor, 2 years for 42,000 images of child abuse. This is a woman, one's a man's name, one's a woman's name. Like, it's off the scale. It's off the scale to the point where you have to go, whoa. What the fuck's going on here? We haven't heard anything about that. Remember that cunt, that Ivor Kaplan, who was caught trying to meet the kids by the grooming gangs? Has anyone heard anything what happened to him? No. And he was a fucking prominent
the same
politician.
happened in the Catholic Church in America, didn't it? So is it kind of being brushed under the carpet and they get moved about different roles and different jobs like the Catholic Church used to do? They moved into different constituencies and stuff.
Wait, the thing is about it is, these things are buried from us. Like, this is stuff that these people who say, right, now we need digital ID. Now you need this, now you need that. And you're going, well, hang on a second. You're saying we need digital ID to prevent children being groomed and sexually exploited online, and yet 52 of your own fucking councillors have been suspended from the party or sacked from the party for this. Like, what?
They won't be having to. They won't require
just keep your fucking government off it with the fucking reduced fucking nonsense straight away.
They won't require.
So this is this thing of this digital ID. So Starmer is treating the public, in my opinion, like complete idiots, that you need digital ID. And it'll get rejected this time round. I don't know whether you've seen, I don't know what the company's name was, but there's a big company who would be one of the companies that would maybe pitch to run the digital ID, who said, oh no, it's not possible. You can't do it in the UK. Mainly because the people aren't down for it, but also we haven't got the technology for it. So Starmer's out there saying we're going to do digital ID, and people who run the technology are going, no, that's not going to work there. It's not, the technology's not ready, and also the people aren't open for it. So why lose points? It's like me saying I'm going to do something to you, you're going to hate me for it, and I actually can't even do it.
Well, it's brown envelopes getting pushed back. We know who's the technology company who've been put forward to roll out the digital ID is Tony Blair's son.
Well, I'm just going to mention Tony Blair has come out yesterday and he said digital ID will save £2 billion a year by improving tax collection and reducing fraud. So it's about taxing people better then. It's not about immigration, what Keir Starmer said. All right? But I've just got a mad solution for you here. Let's just cut off Ukraine and say, right, you and Israel, we're not sending any aid to any foreign countries, right? We're not sending fucking 500 grand to fucking Mozambique for fucking mosquito fucking races or whatever they were sending it for, because we've got a lot of waste in our country. One of them being, right, I'll tell you what, let's just stop supporting the Ukraine war. Well, there's 2-3 billion saved instantly, absolutely instantaneous. So this digital ID fucking madness from them, I'm going, why would you want to piss off people who already don't like you for something that you've got absolutely fucking no chance of getting over the line based on the people's perception of it and also the technology at this moment in time? Do not get me started on this twerp.
Oh my God.
He said women can have penises yesterday. The Green Party fella, Zach Polanski, has said women can have penises yesterday. So if you were thinking about voting Green, then obviously
every woman in the country should listen to what he's got to say and not vote Green. They should, because he's basically saying...
I couldn't give a fuck where you vote. Don't vote.
No, but I'm saying he's now come out saying now the Green Party supports men and women's sports. So if you've got anything about you, if you've got daughters who are thinking you want to be an athlete, you want to be this, you want to be that, he's now promoting that a man could come and take your daughter's role in sports in the future. So get him to fuck. He's gone.
I can't understand that. I'm looking at it going, what are you
what are
you trying to do? Surely if you're there, you're going, oh no, you can't say that.
Well,
there'd be loads of women out there who are going, I don't think women can have penises, you know. Like that, and I know the papers will say, well, she's a bigot, she's a fucking misogynist, she's good, and you're going, no, women can't have penises.
You can have a fake one if you want and go around with a little strap on or something, whatever they want, but they can't grow a real cock, full stop.
Well, the same way men can't have babies because they don't have a uterus and they don't have a womb.
Cervix and...
women can't have penises. But then we did see, there was something where there was a man phoned up, didn't he, for a cervix smear or something like that. But like,
yeah,
have you done seen this in America? There's been lots of pushback in America because transgender men have been turning up to beauty salons and parlours asking for bikini waxes. And obviously the people who would turn up for it thinking it's a woman because they're booking in under a woman's name, and then a man turns up and going, no, we can't do that. And they're then suing the places for not giving it to them. Because they're saying, well, I actually identify as a woman. My name's Christy. And they're going, well, I don't want to wax a man's no man's land. Nutsack. But it's fucking peculiar. Now, it's a dead easy. I'm racking my brains. I'm going, do you know what? I am not a fucking brain surgeon or what you would class as, a Mensa candidate. I'm definitely not. But also, I could fix this really quickly, really easily. Like this takes a year's worth of work by committed people to just say no. And also, we might have to, like you would have to do in any animal population, when there's a parasite, a mind virus, a parasite. I've been reading Gad Sad's book, The Mind Virus, right? Trust me, go out and read it. It's a fucking great read, and it'll fucking arm you to deal with these absolute imbeciles that we have to deal with on a daily basis. These people have got this mind virus, and it's so deeply entrenched with them that I say, look, we're going to give you a year's worth of medication here, and if we do not manage to cure the illness, then we're going to have to section you off. We're going to have to put you away from the rest of society because you might infect other people with this mind virus.
You will infect.
One of the viruses being men can have penises. So if you currently have that virus in your mind, right, then we've got to do some work on getting that virus out your mind, because if you believe that men can have babies and women can have penises, then you have a serious problem. You have a serious virus of your mind that we cannot allow that pathogen, that contagion to get out. We can't allow those people to teach children to be in positions where they can influence people, because they are setting a dangerous trend, because they're living in a fucking dystopian reality. It's not reality. No matter how fucking woke you want to be, no matter how inclusive you want to be, women cannot have penises. Men cannot have babies. That is just basic evolution.
We just need
basic biology.
We just need to protect our younger generation of girls growing up more than anything. There's obviously, I'm not saying they all are, but there is definitely a seedy, sadistic side to what's going. We've seen it go. We've seen it in this trans area. They basically took over these seedy trans men, women. They basically take it. They've seen an easy route in to be a seedy little bastard, and then gone, right, that's it, and then you can't say nothing to them because it's.
Look, I'm just going to level with you, right? There's people like me who aren't, and way worse than me, who are way less tolerant than me. This is not washing.
No,
trans fatigue, we've got it. DEI fatigue, we've got it. It's not washing. What you were getting away with after the Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, the nonsense pottery you have been getting away with, it's over. Woke is dead. Watch South Park. Woke is dead. Woke is dead. It's over. It's finished. You've had, and you might as well enjoy getting your last ringings out of it, because you've seen in America, Donald Trump and the US government have just targeted now Antifa. Yeah. They're gonna class it, I think, as a domestic terrorist organisation. If they do that, that's gonna mean horrific problems for those people. Now, if you look at what they've done to American society, you would have to say that they've brought American society down, not up. They haven't improved society. They haven't helped American society get better. They've sowed further division and further problems for it.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing there, Cambo's got on the pictures of Ricky Hatton's funeral. It's Ricky's funeral today, so
look at that.
Obviously a great turnout for him. Oh God, I couldn't have gone and watch it. He's too young.
He's getting buried in his independent trotter's car. What's his going to be? That's look like his hearse, doesn't it?
Sad, innit? So young, so young.
So
turn off, please, lad.
Avoidable.
Feel sorry for him, but so young, so young. But also, it's sad, and it's why people need to say what they're thinking, and people need to get out, and women do it a lot better than men in terms of sharing your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions. Part of the reason I do this show and I do what I do is because of what was happening. When I first started out on this quest for common sense, it was massively intertwined with men's mental health. We had a huge rise in male suicide, and the reason being is white males, as you see with Gary Neville's comments this week, are just getting talked to like they're piles of shit, as if they fucking, a gang of fucking absolute lunatics who've caused chaos in the world, when actually every single thing that is worth having in this world is because of the patriarchy. Everything about it. The patriarchy have kept everybody safe for hundreds of thousands of years in wars, and sacrifice lives to keep fucking the countries safe and keep the people in those countries safe. Them fellas who went into the First and Second World War, that wasn't for male egotistical fucking bravado. That was to keep people, women and children, from their country safe from invasion. And when I see people saying what they're saying now about them as if they're fucking absolute pieces of shit, and they're responsible for everything going wrong, I have to stand in the road and say, no, sorry, I don't agree with that. I absolutely fundamentally don't agree with that. And the reason we're seeing an incredible rise in male suicide is because of the way people have gone and spoke about, specifically in this country, the white middle-aged male. If it wasn't for the white middle-aged male, we'd be fucked. Make no fucking bones about that. Because if it's to do with fucking women, or your fucking green-haired, fucking lefty, fucking commie, fucking wannabe, fucking nonsense potters, then what do you think you'd end up with? You'd end up with a fucking disorganised society that stinks of fucking cat piss. Because that's all you fucking useless cunts do. You stink of cat piss, sitting there complaining about how everybody's fucking had it hard and how fucking hard you've had it. Instead of fucking getting off your ass and making something of yourself and going and being something in the world, you want to pull everybody into your web of shite.
Well, the thing what's kind of upset me recently, and it's happened over the past couple of years, is obviously, and yourself, brought up Heighton, Labour stronghold, very socialist part of the world, brought up to know what's right and wrong. You brought in football more yourself, brought up to be colourblind, brought up to be in that changing room. Everyone's the same, everyone's equal. Again, we see...
No, they're not. No, they're not.
No.
You're judged on your football merit.
That's my point. You judge on merit, no matter what colour you are, no matter what religion you are, you're judged on your merit. And that's why, as a city, Liverpool brought up, especially after the Toxic riots, yes, there was a lot of racism, there was a lot, and we were brought up to kind of, not say big up, but try and massively push on equality and everyone's the same. We should all be equal in jobs. We should all have equal opportunities. And we got there and it was great and it was fantastic. Yeah, but you're judged on your merit, not on your skin colour. You're judged, if you're good enough, no matter what colour, where you're from, you should be in X, Y, Z job. You should be pushed in. But
that goes against human nature because, you know, somebody turns up for a job interview, you instantly judge them on how they look.
No.
If someone turns up with fucking green hair, stinking a capish, you go, right, can't give this cunt a job.
I know, but listen, me point being is now the pendulum swung against the white middle class male in everything now.
This anti-white racism, let's call it for what it is, because that's what it is. And they go, oh yeah, well the white man's done X amount and they go, yeah, he has, yeah, no doubt about it. But also, so is the black man, so is the Asian man, so is the Arab man. Like everybody's done wrong in the past.
Of course,
yeah, okay, certain parts are remembered. So this anti-white racism, and I'll get into it in a second. It's okay to bash down on especially white males. It's like, okay, yeah, we can say what we want about them because they are not that important. Because, you know, in the past, a slave owner from fucking North Carolina was a white male. It's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, but what the fuck's that got to do with the white Irishman or the white Scotsman or the white Welshman or the white Englishman? It's got absolutely nothing to do with us.
But my little point on it is like, okay, we stood side by side with you back in the 80s and the early 90s and when the racism music going through, and now all of a sudden we're feeling it with this DEI and everyone's against the middle class white, the middle-aged white man. And now what you're saying is, nah, fuck off, do one. You got to just deal with it. I don't care that. Like I looked at, I read something on some guy who was an actor, now was an Uber driver, and he put a piece in it, like he was put it on Twitter. He said that if he turned up to an acting, to a casting, and there was a black fella there, he was like, I've got no chance. It's done. It's him done. He knows that there was a black guy there or a Asian guy there. That was
the fashion, wasn't it? Because we had the George Floyd thing, the Black Lives Matter, the fashion. That's all it is. This is what people are missing. It's just a fashion. People are just scared to go, oh, you can't say that at the minute, or you can't do that. Well, look, it's washed over because there's millions of people like us who are just going, nah, get fucked. You've had your 2 or 3 years, and by the way, you've seen all these race grifters, you see them on the telly, they've taken massive advantage of it. But also, like every fashion, like every storm, it's passed over us and people have gone through. And most people, I believe, have common sense. That's why I've named the podcast I have. Now, is it common practice? No, obviously it's not. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to do what we have to do. But my reach is to reach out to you to say, common sense has to start becoming common practice. Okay? So in the UK, we've got this mad thing that we attach ourselves to what's going on in America when we've got nothing absolutely fuck all to do with us. Yeah. America has a huge problem with what happened in the slavery, with what happened in its civil war, with what happened in the aftermath of that, with civil rights movements, with its segregation policies. Like, it's got a huge issue, you know, civil rights leaders being killed on both sides of the aisle, etc., etc. America's got a huge issue with it. We don't have the same issue here. We have absolutely fucking nothing to do with what's gone on in America. But for some reason, because of the internet, because it's internet now, you've got all these fucking social justice warriors who are just waiting for the next flag to put in the bio or the next fucking campaign to get themselves aligned with.
Greta's the prime example.
What you have to... That little fucker, yeah, Greta fucking nonsense.
She's a prime example of this.
Well, she's full of shit, isn't she? Let's be honest.
But she's a prime example of why it's fashionable and why it's trends.
Well, it's just to keep themselves relevant. So what people have to remember here is, and this I get this from Rafi May now, who I see him out there fighting a good fight. Don't ever forget for one moment that All the people who put all the black people into slavery in Africa were black. Black people were captured by other black people and sold into slavery. So other tribes that weren't their tribes, they raided them, took prisoners and put them people on boats, and they shipped them west and they shipped them east. Now the slaves that went east got castrated so that they couldn't ever repopulate. The slaves that went west, never. And that's why you've got the repatriations and the slavery argument going on in the west. The ones that went east were castrated, so they never had any offspring, and exactly the same number that went east into the Arab countries went west into America, Caribbean and beyond. Now the first black slave owner in America was a guy called Anthony Johnson, the first legal owner of a slave in America. Okay, so it's Black History Month, so it's important we talk about it. And the slave's name was John Cassaw. Okay, and in 1654 Anthony Johnson fought in the courthouses of America to keep John Cassaw as a slave indefinitely for his whole lifetime, rather than just a couple of years or 3 years of the contract he bought him from. So in essence, he became the first permanent slave owner, and Johnson that is, and Cassaw became the first permanent slave. So when we're talking about Lenny Henry asking for 18 trillion of repatriations, and they've actually put a chart how he would put it across. So in 1654, if Johnson is having this Cassaw case to be the first permanent slave owner and the first permanent slave, we fast forward now 200 years to 1833, when the British and the British Empire used 40% of its GDP to buy freedom for the slaves across its colonies, across its Commonwealth. The equivalent, I think it was 20 million in the day. The equivalent now would be in the billions,
16 billion or something, yeah.
Okay. Britain borrowed such a large sum of money to abolish the Slavery Act that it wasn't paid off. So in 1833, we decided to pay off and emancipate all the slaves across the Commonwealth at massive cost to the British person. No one making money from that, losing money, massive amounts of money. And we only paid that debt off in 2015. So that debt has only just been paid off. And then you've got cheeky bastards, because that's what they are, saying, hang on a sec, what about this? What about that? Where's the 18 trillion repatriations for this? This means that living British citizens today, who are alive today, are actually still paid off the debt of hundreds of years ago.
Because this wasn't a debt. We pay up until 2015. The British taxpayer was paying. This debt.
Paying this off.
Yeah.
So there was a great quote by Thomas Sowell, American. I would have to say philosopher. More whites were brought as slaves to North Africa than blacks were brought as slaves to the United States or the 13 colonies from which it was formed. White slaves were still being bought and sold in the Ottoman Empire, which is modern-day Turkey, decades after the blacks were freed in the United States. Do we see anybody asking for repatriations of the Turks? Do we see anybody asking for repatriations of the Romans, of the Vikings?
The Irish?
Of the Barbary pirates who raided all the fucking southern border of England and took people out of Cornwall and all that. No, I don't. All I see it is about people who've been knighted in this country, who've taken advantage of this country, or America as a country, complaining about, money that's owed to fucking people they've never met or don't know or have absolutely no connection to. Why? Why do you do it? When we're talking about sowing division, sowing hatred, that's what that does.
That is the division. That is the worst part. Because what they have people like looking at Lenny Henry going, oh yeah, he's right, this should go, this should happen, and then that just creates more hatred from the black side to the white side in this country. That's all he's doing. For over 50 years, Britain stationed Royal Navy ships off the coast of Africa to intercept slave traders. From 1808 to 1860, bear in mind, we only settled in 1834, was it? Something like that,
for the Slavery Act.
Yeah.
So for 1808, so years before, we actually brought the Slavery Act in and abolished it in our country and Commonwealth. And years after, the British, for 50 years, were putting ships in the Atlantic there, between Africa, to stop slavery. To the West It was called the West Africa Squadron, and they captured 1,600 slave ships and freed 150,000 enslaved Africans. And yet, you cheeky bastards are still here asking, well, where's my money for this? Where's my money for that? You know where your money is, Lenny? Fucking there, lad. Right there, you fucking cheeky cunt. Fucking get fucked.
Well, if you do this basic maths on it, it'd cost... Well, he's not going to charge a black British taxpayer, is he? So it's going to be the white British taxpayer paying for this 18 trillion. It costs between 550 and 630,000 per white taxpayer in the UK as a one-off bill.
Yeah. Won't be a minute.
Again,
won't be a minute. So what he's going to pay us for the fact that you couldn't read and write and all the stuff like that. That is obviously there's obviously massive downsides to some of the stuff that's happened historically, but obviously there's massive upsides to what has happened historically. At some point, common sense has to kick in here. At some point, you have to say, do you know what? Whatever happened there, none of us know what happened there. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again. The way to do that is by having grown-up, common sense conversations about it. The way to not do that is say, hang on a minute, you owe me 50 million quid there. Before. Yeah. Your granddad shouted at me nan fucking 200 years ago. What the fuck's it got to do with me?
You've seen a few on the Twitter, the YouTube talk about, we've said black fatigue before. What is it?
He should have, in my opinion here, he should have, for saying what he said out loud, he should have his knighthood taken off him.
This is black fatigue. This is what we talk about. This is a prime example of it, of why people are just pissed off with this kind of rhetoric that's being pushed by a certain individuals in this country.
But I don't get is how have they sat there and gone, yeah, do you know what? Yeah, they're right there. And they've actually done the numbers on it. I've actually got the numbers in front of me. I'm not going to bore you with the numbers, but they've gone round and broke down every single country and where the money should be allotted to. It was a thing in the Daily Mail, so how accurate it is, I'm not sure. But even the fact that they've had to break it down, they're owed 1.2 billion, they're owed 8. I'm like, how do you know if you got what the fuck are you on about? You fucking idiots. Yeah. Tell you what, gives your nights up back and fuck off.
Yeah.
Fucking cheeky bastard. Okay, I don't know whether you heard this. Is a great little thing from the darts. I didn't watch it live, but I seen the thing that Sky Sports had to censor the darts fans because they were singing Keir Starmer's a wanker. So Sky had to dub over the thing, because obviously at the darts they get a bit rowdy, and obviously the dear leader is not as liked as what he thinks he is. But Sky have had to dub over. Where they're singing the songs because it got that heavy for Keir Starmer in the end.
Yeah.
And that's when you're living in a totalitarian fucking ideologue's paradise, when Sky know if they don't do that, there's going to be a massive Ofcom fucking investigation into them because the dear leader isn't happy.
Yeah, listen, talking about...
Keep it going.
Talking about investigations, let's speak about... we'll touch on it. Because I think it's
a bone of contention with you. You've wanted to get this on the table all morning,
haven't you? It's done me head in. It's really pissed me off about Timmy Westwood. And I just can't... Obviously, we can't...
You used to love him though, didn't you?
So did you. You used to have him.
Lad, I couldn't bear him.
Lad, you had his album.
Lad.
You had his album. But...
I've always thought he's one of the biggest tossers on the telly.
Well,
any white fella who's pretending to be black, what, the whips? What? Slap him.
But it's deeper because the BBC, obviously we heard yesterday he's been now charged.
By the way, he's still only been charged at this point.
Still only been charged.
He's in Westminster Madge, so that fella there is Hugh Edwards, mate, so he'll be all right there.
But this is my point, and we're going to delve into here over the BBC. The BBC have paid, and don't forget this is our money the BBC use, 3.3 million to do an investigation
into Westwood.
Backstory, in 2022, claims of sexual misconduct by several women came to light, triggering an investigation on Westwood.
So this is like the Me Too, the back end of the Me Too movement.
Yeah, so this is BBC spent 3.3 million, later found the corporation had missed opportunities to act and admitted to failing people. How many times are they going to go, sorry?
Yeah, sorry, he was a bacon.
Yeah, we missed. How many people are they going to say, yeah, we missed him?
No, not just that. How many people are currently still working there?
It's like...
hang on a second. So think about that. If you're missing people at the level they are, like Saville's quite a big miss.
Hugh Edwards,
quite a big miss. Obviously, Westwood,
Timmy
spent 3.1 million and still missed them. All right. Now imagine how many others, because there's a load of allegations about loads of others in there. Imagine how much is still going on that has either been buried under the carpet or, has literally been missed as they've
well, that's what they're
to.
talking about. The Savile scandal was narrated as hiding in plain sight.
Well, again, that's why how we've got the Prime Minister, who was the Director of Public Prosecutions, so he's clearly only got on because he's ignored Savile. And not just Savile, think of how big them tentacles must go, because that will not just be Savile, that will be a big network behind that. So there's lots of, we're seeing with the Epstein thing here now, how many people are going to be behind that. I'm not saying that Trump isn't, who knows, obviously Trump's close to him. Trump's got lots to answer for. That's why I think it's been kept out of the American media. I think it's because of how bad it'll make Trump look.
Well, didn't Trump pay someone?
Trump's clearly fucking, he's actually had the bikini pageants and that. He doesn't have a bevy, but I reckon Trump's just, when you look at his beard, I said to you, Camilla and Charlie Sausage Finger the other day, and Trump and Melania, Trump likes a fucking good-looking woman, doesn't he? And he's lived in New York and he's done all the beauty pageants, and he's obviously, you've got the video of him saying, he's grabbed him by the pussy or whatever he was saying. That's what he, in the 80s in America, if you're a superstar like that, I would imagine.
He's been on the charge,
he doesn't bevy, so he's just sniffing.
No way, he does. So
he doesn't drink.
The 80s, I know he doesn't drink now.
He's never drank, and
he's never drank.
His brother killed himself through alcoholism.
So he's never drank.
He's never drank because of what his brother was like, the prodigy, and he watched his brother. Yeah, he's had a terrible time watching his brother, so he doesn't drink at all.
I didn't know. I thought
but also, that doesn't mean
more.
he's not a severe fucking. He's not into other things, because clearly he must. Everyone's got likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's perfect, far from it. I'm saying he might be a little bit of an. He might like the other sex a little bit. Some people
too much.
Well, some people, that's how they get the kicks.
A little bit grabby.
Well, that's how they get the kicks. I'm seeing here, you're pulling up Stuart Hall, Dave Lee Travis, Hugh Edwards. Who are the other allegations who you got here from? Fucking hell, you're deep in this BBC one here.
Deep in the BBC
So what do you want? The BBC cancelled?
I just want them held to fucking some
the BBC
kind of
tell you the
justice.
truth. They tell you that Islamic attacks on synagogues are far right.
I just don't think it's a coincidence that every time something like this happens, we find, oh sorry, we missed it. Oh sorry, we missed it. It's not a coincidence. I just think it's a loss getting brushed under the carpet at the BBC historically. I said maybe even today.
Well, we're seeing that. So you never knew anything about the Labour politicians. I've just said 52 of them there. There's big things about lots of politicians. So clearly, lots of stuff's getting pushed under the carpet.
And is it all is it all connected?
Well, this is why they want the Online Safety Act. This is why they want to shut people like us down. And again, don't forget, like and subscribe. Make sure you're following us. Make sure you're buying into our community, what we're about, because they will try and silence us. They've already tried. They are trying. And at no point in the future do I think for 1 second they will want to stop this, because they do not want people talking. They do not want people aware of what they're doing.
Yeah.
They want people to do as they're told, do it when they're told, and do not ask any questions. Sign up for your digital ID and we'll tell you what you can do, where you can go, and how much you can eat. Now, BBC, it sounds like you're wanting the BBC cancelled here.
I want them held to some kind of, I don't know, but it just, for me, it's again, every year we're keeping hearing this BBC DJs, and it's just like someone's got to get hold of them and say, what the fuck's going on in your organisation where this is being allowed to happen constantly? It's no other organisation, bar Labour and the Catholic Church, can this happen constantly, and it's just, something's got to be done. I just think something has to be done.
Well, also, we never really got to the bottom of what happened with the FA and stuff that was going on in football clubs.
Correct. But we're not here as... I don't think it's systemic in football clubs as it is at the fucking BBC.
But for me, there's only one way to deal with this problem.
Fucking chop the cock
Euthanization.
off. Yeah, chop it off.
So, unfortunately, it's a parasite of the mind. If you are sexually attracted to people who are young, then... for me, you can't be cured, and we have to take you out of the population for fear that that pathogen might spread or be passed on to somebody else. So they need to either be chemically castrated or euthanized. Like we're talking, we've had a Labour government who's brought in, the right to die, haven't they? They've been pushing that.
Yeah.
The right to take yourself away and assisted suicide or whatever. So why can't we kill all nonsense? They'll soon cut down the level of nonsense. Listen, it won't stop it, because nonsense are always going to fucking do what they're doing. But if every now and again you go, oh yeah, that's just an See that tugboat that's been taken out into the fucking sea and just sank? Yeah, with all them fucking fellas sitting underneath. Yeah, all them women underneath. Yeah, that's the nonce boat. So now they're all sitting under their fish food, and when they find them, they go, "Oh hell, there's like a fucking bar 16 ships out here with a load of people." Oh yeah, they used to take nonces out and drown them as a fucking deterrent to everybody else, because it's unless you have some radical ways of dealing with things, they'll just continue.
Situations. Yeah.
So the more and more we get into it, the more and more I'm like, well, we've got a faux dictator anyway in this little piece of shit Starmer that's here now trying to fucking be a dictator without any real gumption. So I'm now at the point where I'm like, I don't want democracy. I don't think we've got one. I don't think it works. There's a deep state behind it. I just want a king or a queen or somebody who leads who we go, right, what are we doing there? And you go, yeah, off with his head. You go, sound right, off with his head. It's the only way we can get through stuff.
Off with his head.
This way of trying to go through the court system and trying to do it, it's just not working.
Who would be your king? You could pick one. Who would be your king?
In this country?
No, just if you could pick. Yeah, go on. In this country, I
want somebody who's like really rational thinking, but who's like, yes, I'd have to meet some people. It'd probably be within the military. It'd be somebody within the probably special elite forces unit. It'd be some kind of military commander there, like in either the SBS or SAS, who would go, yeah, mate, you just fucking do what you need. And he goes, yeah, get rid of all them. And also, look, by the way, some people are going to be caught up in the collateral of that. But for us to cleanse, it's almost like a purge. We need a purge of society. It's going to sound mad, this, but we almost need a world war. We almost need a civil war or a world war. Because I put on before, and I'll put it on if you just want to listen to it. You know, listen to stuff this week, and I heard a harrowing story about a girl who'd been burnt as a kid who lived in Gaza, who got treatment in Israel, came back to Gaza. They recruited her to be a suicide bomber, and they offered her 3 places that she could possibly go to. And she chose the place that she was treated as a kid for burns, the hospital, to blow up. She then goes back across, tries to blow that up. They intercept her at the border. She then tries to blow herself up and fails to do so. They put her in jail. In the midst of her being in jail for over a 12-year period, she ends up getting an education. They give her a college education. She comes back, goes back to Gaza, and is intent on just absolutely killing her, and says, no, that's all I want to do. I was so close. The guy goes back in thinking, oh, she must have flipped over here. Shows her the video of a failed suicide attempt at the border. And she's like, oh my God, that was the closest I got to paradise. Yeah. So there's nothing you can do here. The only thing you can do here is take them out into the middle of the sea and just drop them off. And go, yeah, like there's absolutely no way in the world that these 2 ideologies can cohabituate the planet.
No, yeah.
So unfortunately, someone somewhere's got to go, right, we're going to go left here or we're going to go right. And in the midst of that, in the midst of tolerating both sides of it, we're just continuing this chaotic madness of the world that we're living in. We're just tit for tat. Somebody blows something up one week, someone goes and shoots somebody the next week. Now, in the midst of all this, we've got people who despise Donald Trump, despise everything that his party stands for, who have been on the streets marching for the end of the conflict and Israel's aggression in Palestine, who are now deeply unhappy that Donald Trump's managed to, or looks like he's about to, negotiate a ceasefire and a peace agreement in that area.
Yeah, and he's won this prick, Zach Balansky.
Oh, he's a fucking divvy him. The fact that we're talking about him, he's done his job really. But I'm saying, Trump's now, let's be honest, somebody who has clearly done good for the world because he's stopping the mass slaughter of people in war zones.
Isn't the Nobel Peace Prize announced today? I think it's announced. I think, yeah, I'm sure it is. Nobel Peace Prize is announced today, and is Trump favourite?
But I'm saying to you, like, people who hate Trump and think he's Nazi or whatever they've called him, whatever they've called him in the past, have to accept that he has done a universally good thing here by stopping the ongoing destruction and death in the Middle East.
But this is all the chanting in the streets saying, ceasefire. And we go, okay, now Trump and Netanyahu have got this ceasefire along with Egypt and Qatar and others have got this ceasefire. So why aren't you happy?
Let's be honest. Let's be honest here about who's got the ceasefire. Trump's gone in and gone, hey, if you don't do this, I'm going to fuck you up with what I've got. So Qatar now have gone, fucking hell, yeah. Like Egypt, they've all just fucking fell cap in hand. They haven't gone in and been negotiating hard. Absolutely not. Trump's used bully boy tactics. Trump's gone in and said, listen, You need to do this. If you don't do this, then you're going to deal with the fucking might of America. So, and the fact that if you see the flyovers of Gaza, I'm not necessarily sure that there's fucking much left of Gaza. When you see the before and after the time-lapse photo from satellite,
it is horrific.
There's nothing left of the place.
It's gone. It's gone, yeah.
There's absolutely nothing, or it looks like, I might be wrong because I'm not on the ground, but when I've seen the flyover, it looks like it's been absolutely nuked, wiped off the face of the fucking on the face of the earth. So it's a bit late now. I'm kind of going, shouldn't you have been doing that 2 years ago before this started? Now, what people forget here was, if America would have dealt with the October 7th attack at draconian, like, we're stepping in now to end this level, then there'd have been a lot less people on both sides of the conflict killed, and there'd be a lot less turmoil on the rest of the planet because of that said conflict. The fact that they never, and don't forget who was the American president when October 7th happened. Joe Biden, who was walking around with fucking Parkinson's with a nappy on, shitting himself, and people were trying to gaslight us in the mainstream media, saying, oh no, there's nothing wrong with him, he's absolutely fine. Oh no, Joe's sharp as a tack when you switch the cameras off. And you're going, hang on a second here, he's walking like he's got fucking rigor mortis. He's walking like he's finishing a speech and turning around, doesn't know what fucking day it is, where he's going, people have to chaperone him. Oh no, but the mainstream media, oh no, he's absolutely fine, he's sharp as a tack. It's only in the midst of him shitting his kecks, virtually on stage, that they had to flip over to Kamala batshit crazy Harris as the fucking nomination for the Democratic fucking presidency. And they put in Tim Walz and his beard, who, let's be honest, are two of the weirdest fucking cunts you've ever met in your life. His beard, when she's going, turn the page, and you're going, no, you're a crazy lady who no one should be listening to. And Tim's definitely a fucking uphill gardener, because there's no way in the world that is a realistic marriage used to. Makes no sense. So that was what you put forward, the Democrats, the left-leaning party, who, by the way, if you look back, they were the party who fought the Confederates. They were fought on the side of the Confederates to keep slavery. It was the Union, it was the Northern states, it was the Republican Party, Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant, who fought to abolish slavery in the USA. So the Democrat Party, your Hillary Clintons, your Democrat Party, they were the pro-slavery party. Go and do your research. And the same here, the Bolshevik Revolution, Lenin into Stalin, left socialists, the Nazis, National Socialists, left parties, workers' parties. And what you're seeing in the UK now is the Union, the left parties, buddying up with what? Radical Islam, buddying up. And the minute the fucking numbers flip, you'll be disposed of. You're only a useful idiot to them. Take your head out your fucking ass. Gad Sads calls it ostrich paralysis syndrome, OPS. You've got your head stuck that far in the fucking ground that you don't see what's coming down the track to you. Now, luckily for you, there's fucking millions of us who are awake, who are fucking switched onto this, who are not wearing it, who have bored through your DEI, affirmative action, bollocks, Black Lives Matter, bollocks, who are now bored with black fatigue, who have now got the next version of that, which is Islamic fatigue. This is a Christian country with Christian values where common sense has to fucking take back hold. Okay, need to get into this because there's been a bit of a spat online, back to footy, between Jibril Cisse and Wayne Rooney.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
So Rooney's come out and he's pointed to a video where the QPR Man City game finishes.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Obviously, one of my highlights of my career, that. And at the end of it, Jibril Cisse runs over and hugs Sammy Nasri. Yeah. Because obviously QPR have stayed up and Man City have won the league. Now, Rooney's used that as if that game was bent and that QPR threw that game. I'm only commenting on it because he referenced me in there as well. So Jibril Cisse, and said, I will not take Wayne Rooney's accusation. But he does admit that he did celebrate with Nasri. Now, I'll have to level with you there. Half of our team knew we were safe and stayed up, and half of our team didn't. You can see when you see it, because Sean Derry turns around and punches the floor, because Deza thinks we're down. Deza doesn't know that we've stayed up. Now, 5 or 6 in the team did, because I could hear it getting shouted from the sideline. I was just in the tunnel and I knew 4 or 5 of them, definitely Sean Wright-Phillips and a few others were aware of it. Now, Rooney should be saying, did them lads down tools at that point? Well, we'd all been in City's academy. So you had Nathan Manua there, who been in City's academy. You had Sean Wright and myself, who've been in City's academy. So we would have wanted Manchester City to win the league, make no bones about that, over Man United. It's not even up for conversation. But at the time, we were fighting for our own survival, so we had to better other people's results on that day to stay up. As it was, you know, we all got beat who mattered, and we ended up staying up because we were in an advantageous position before the games kicked off. But had goals gone and draws been in other places, we could have gone down. So I have to disagree with Wayne. Now, Wayne's trying to say that this game is some kind of bent fixture at the end that the lads have give up. He says that Paddy Kenny, he actually does say Paddy Kenny's thrown basically the 2 goals in that lead to City winning the league. I don't think Paddy knew. So I think there is lads in our team who knew that we were safe, but I don't think Paddy Kenny was one of them. Now, you might say Paddy should have done better with the goals, but again, I don't think Paddy Kenny's the type of lad who would throw a game to help Man City win a league. I just don't think he is. No. So Wayne and the Man United fans, and I know this because loads of Man United fans have come up and asked me, did I throw the game? Did you do it because you're Man City? We've heard you. No.
You done it because you're a fucking head the ball? That's why you done it.
I got told by Bobby Zamora to get someone sent off, so I tried to get someone sent off. That's where the buck stops with me. Like, I'd like to sit here and say, oh yeah, the Abu Dhabi mob give us 16 million in a fucking US bank account. They didn't. So your conspiracy theories was a run through. And it's the same way. Look, sometimes some people tell you stuff in life and you want to believe it because it fits your narrative, and you want to have that cognitive dissonance, and you want to make, we didn't win the league because there was an agenda against us. It might be the same fellas who were saying, look, if you get one more ear transplant, it might come back. It might grow back this time. This might be the time you get a fringe. As you found out, that is complete nonsense. Stop wasting your time on nonsense. The game at Man City was not thrown. Man City won the league and Man United never. Am I happy about that? Absolutely, because I hate Man United, all right? But I didn't go out my way to make City win the league. We were intent on City staying up. So to say that or Jibril Cisse or Sean Wright-Phillips or Nathan Manua or Paddy Kenny have somehow concocted to make sure you don't win the league is bollocks. You should have got yourselves in a better position. You didn't. Man City had to beat QPR on the last day of the season at home, who were in the bottom 4 to win the league. That's your fault. So the fact that you've even had a sniff of winning the league is a testament to the lads at QPR and the battle they put up, because that was an easy fucking win for City, but the lads for QPR made it a lot more difficult.
I was going to say that. I mean, if they were throwing the game, they would have made it far easier than what
Again, you wouldn't have fucking made them having to score 2 in injury time. Yeah. So unluckily, you've won a load of leagues, Wayne, but that one wasn't one that is a conspiracy theory that got away from you. That was just a fucking mad result on a mad day. And by the way, that was better for footy. City win the first Premier League, happy days. And QPR stayed up, happy days. And you cunts were all crying on the pitch at fucking Stadium of fucking Light or Middlesbrough or wherever you was, which is fucking triple whammy. Get fucked. Fucking saying the line. Now, while I stay on the theme of Man United, we've had complete lunacy from Man United again.
Yeah, oh my God,
because Sir Jim Ratcliffe has come out and granted Ruben Nonsense Potter,
3 years, is it?
Ruben Amorim Nonsense Potter, who did have, I told you, he had the double sacky on in that fucking game. Look, there's the bottoms.
Yeah. That's
a sackable offence. You've beat Sunderland at home with a couple of referee decisions going in their favour. That could have been a completely different tie. But let's steady your horses, Man U fans. You've beat Sunderland at home, who were newly promoted, had an half-decent start, but will still be favourites to go down. You've beaten them at home, right? Granting Ruben Amorim a 3-year extension. You know, we need Ruben. Like, why do you do it? I know now that is going to fucking backfire on you in a short space of time, because you're going to get violated by the next half-decent team you run into, which mightn't be a top 4 team, but you're going to be violated again many, many times, all right? And you're 10th in the table at this moment in time with a negative 2 goal difference after, 7 games? So you're not even outscoring the opposition. I don't think you have played anywhere near some of the better teams in the division at this moment in time. And to say you're going to give a manager 3 years who's been, let's be honest, below par, massively below par in his team selections, massively below par in his adaptability to this league, massively below par in his communication to the press, massively below par in his body language to everybody. You know, sitting on the bench of fucking Grimsby and the fucking Wally with the brolly, the fucking tit with the tactics board, which, you know, he has done nothing at this point to make any of us believe that he is the man. I actually think this statement puts even more pressure on him because...
Yeah, so do I.
Because he's now going to believe... And he's let's be honest, he's shit. He's still playing 3-4-3. He's fucking shit.
I think there's more chance, in my eyes, of United being bottom 3 than top 4.
Amarin has not had the best of seasons. And he was shit last year. This is Jim Ratcliffe quoted. Ruben needs to demonstrate he is a great coach over 3 years. That's where I'd be. Well, Jim, you haven't fucking been a coach. So why are you putting yourself in a coach's shoes? And also, you're in a game that you know absolutely nothing about based on your interactions at Nice and based on your interactions at Man United. You're way in over your head. And I'm hearing from Turki Al-Sheikh's comments on his Twitter this week that there's negotiations going on to buy Manchester United. I would imagine that'll be... Well, I don't know who it is. He came out and said it's nothing to do with me.
Yeah, he has. But I think that, well, listen, he knows his shit. I know that Turki Al-Sheikh, he sometimes has a little fishing on Twitter, doesn't he? He's quite funny. But I think this is serious. He's saying, no, there's negotiations, not to do with me, but to do with the UAE.
It might be the Qataris back on the thing trying to get it. Well, look, we're in a sports washing era now with obviously Newcastle and the Saudis. We are now massively going to see lots of these teams be taken over for sports washing purposes because the Premier League's that big. We're already seeing it now. It's going to happen more. You know, the Saudis, you know, you go back to, I don't really want to get into the history of it. I've been doing a lot of history stuff on the first Iraq-Iran war in 80 to 88, which leads into the first conflict in the Gulf with George Bush Poppy. And then obviously all the fucking dominoes that have fell after that. But the Saudis and Qataris, obviously, and it would drive this back. This is radical Islam. There's a whole movement to get this palatable here because, you know, as we've seen from Spain in the 1300s, you know, the Islamic powers, they're intent on world domination. Not saying that's every Muslim, but there's a huge part of the Islamic doctrine and the Quran that says we will not rest until every single person on this planet practices this way of life. That to me is not something that is compatible with our current belief system and the way we want to live our lives.
Anyone else's
the point where
system?
The Crusades happened as a reaction to the rise of radical Islam. When the Moors came across the Gibraltar Straits and went into Spain, there was a reaction from the Christian countries of France and Northern Europe and Britain to respond to this because this was seen as an invasion. Now, that was pushed back and obviously we're now seeing it rear its head again and there's an attempted takeover of, we're seeing in Michigan, Dearborn in Michigan, where an Islamic population has grown and it's started to operate within its own boundaries and become very clannish as it does and, you know, trying to put Sharia law into the equation, which we've seen in the UK. We've got 23 Sharia law courts in the UK. Yeah. You seen yesterday in Birmingham, all the Palestine stuff was up because they're protesting against, what are they protesting in Birmingham? Someone's come to Birmingham yesterday, which they're not happy about. Just Google it, you'll find it. I need to... But also, we know that parts of Birmingham and Bradford and, you know, parts of London, let's be honest here, not white.
Yeah, it's majority of...
You know, parts of Leicester, you're seeing people saying there's 5 times a day we've got Islamic call to prayer, waking you up. Like, if I was in a Muslim country, I'm like, yeah, fine, I'll go and live in a Muslim country, and I know that that's what they're going to do because that's the customs and that's the culture. But when you're living in a Christian country, a Protestant country, you don't expect that. So we're going to reach a boiling point. I think we're very quickly approaching it. Like, it's getting here quicker and quicker and quicker, where people are just going to say, no, sorry, that's the way it was, and this is the way it's going to be in the future. And this future does not involve you behaving the way you're behaving. But what we need to do now is separate the good people from the radicals on all sides of the argument and say, look, if you want to be a radical, fuck off. Because radical behaviour is not helping anybody.
Yeah, the problem you've got is, I think, in terms of trying to do that, the right thing to do is sit down and, as you said, try and come
But
to
again,
some
we've
sort of
tried
peace.
this tolerance.
But you can't.
Tolerance plus tolerance equals cowardice. So, unfortunately, we've reached the point of we've been incredibly tolerant, and this is not stopping. Every month we've got another one. Every month there's a fucking...
Yesterday.
We have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Okay? Now, pricks like Lineker come out and do cartoons portraying people as rats and stuff like that. You are the problem. You think you're virtue signaling, and I know the only reason you're doing it, it's called creepy bastard syndrome. Creepy fucker syndrome. They're saying it and doing it to get in women's knickers. That's all it's about for these people. All it's about, this virtue signaling nonsense, is to climb into women's fucking undercrackers and get themselves nice and warm and fuzzy for a period. They do not believe in what they're saying. So Lineker causes, in my opinion, hate and division in this country by saying what he said about Jewish people. By saying what he said, he is stoking the fires he's pertaining to put out on one end. Now, he should be out apologising and saying, do you know what? I shouldn't have fucking said what I've done because this synagogue's been attacked.
Yeah.
And nothing. Don't hear anything from him.
No.
He hasn't come out and condemned the person who's fucking done the attack. And he's not said anything about his rhetoric that could have contributed towards this. Now they're saying he might get... Wednesday he got given a lifetime honour award from Legends of Football in the Grosvenor Hotel. And Avram Grant, remember the ex-Chelsea Portsmouth manager who likes a massage? Likes a massage. He's come out and absolutely got after him, and he's right.
Yeah.
Because we can't have people like Lineker, people like Neville, using their profile to virtue signal about fucking things they've got absolutely no clue about. And every time you do, there's going to be people like me, HMRC of nonsense here, holding you to account, holding you fucking receipts on you. I need to release this into the ether. One of my fucking good sources has come back to me this week. Fucking great source. He hasn't managed to produce the team sheets for me. But what I'm hearing, lads, that 3 weeks ago in Manchester City cosplay ladies team had a full-strength team out against Manchester City under-14s boys who had a full-strength team out. And they got beat 6-0.
I'm not shocked at all. I just think that's the level, isn't it? When we're talking about levels of...
So they've shut all this down, everything. They've not put anything about this out, no team sheets and all that. Now I guarantee you, if the cosplay nonsense Potters are the 1-6-0,
it'd be from
they've had highlights and goals and repeats. The fact that a group of under 14s boys, which means they're literally just starting to get hairs under their armpits and a few fucking hairs on the chest and that, have absolutely demolished Man City women's team, who have been one of the more successful women's teams, spent a load of money on their team. 6-0. Don't put the nonsense pottery on the telly, please, anymore. They're fucking way below the standard for televised matches. Put them on their own channel, Sky channel 486 out the back, the cosplay channel, and you can go and find it the same way you want to go and find the fucking evangelical fucking preaching in fucking Louisiana, channel 973. Same way you want to find Babe Station, channel fucking 626 or whatever. If you want the fucking cricket on, you have to fucking... You want to go and find the cosplay nonsense pottery, please take it out the fucking my subscription, because nobody's buying this. Nobody's watching it. Nobody's taking it seriously. Yes, they're doing great, but please separate the two. Stop putting the two of them together and pumping their tyres up and making them think they're getting better viewers or that they're more like than what they are, because they're not. And when I see Man City under 14 boys pumping the women's fucking team 6-0, and you're not putting that out into the public space, then I know you're full of shit. Have I got anything else to get through? I don't want to talk to you about the Oh, Stan Collymore. Did anyone see Stan Collymore coming out?
Yeah,
saying
you
he's
see,
scared?
I don't know what he's. What's he scared of? Though you've said he's scared.
Said he's scared of being black. I think.
I don't think it was that. I think what I read, it was scared of being patriotic because he was going on about he gave Guy Neville a bit and then saying that he used to love following, playing for England, very patriotic, loved having his English flags up, and he's scared now. I don't know what the angle on it was. It's a bit of a weird one.
What are we on time wise there now? 1 minute 40, 1 hour 45. Are we that far in? All right, last little bit from me. Steven Gerrard done an interview with Paul Scholes, so we'll finish on
Rio.
Sorry, Rio
I've
done an
watched the whole
interview with
thing.
Steven Gerrard.
Really
I haven't
good.
seen the full thing. Steven's kind of give his opinion on it. I thought he spoke well about Roy Keane. And then there's a few people reacted to it about saying, you know, I think that Lampard is a different type of player than them both. The biggest equation would be Scholes or Gerrard. Who would you take out of the two? For me, I don't think people realise how good Gerrard was. I've said this multiple times, but everything Paul Scholes could do, Gerrard could do. Paul Scholes couldn't do everything that Gerrard could do.
That's anyone who watched the game back then can see that and understand that. It's not even a Paul Scholes as a dictator. The play was fantastic. One of the best as a passing range, fantastic, everything. But he had to go after 65 minutes because he had asthma. He didn't have the legs. As Stephen said, and rightly so, you could get at Paul Scholes in the other side of the game. You'd get him a yellow card or something. Because let's be honest, he was awful in the tackle. He was so late in the
Wasn't a great tackler, yeah.
So all part of that is like, yeah, Steven Gerrard could do that dirty work as well as do like create goals, score goals, last minute runs in the channel, runs up and down. He could do loads.
But I think directly up against each other, mano to mano, there, that's not even a conversation. If you've played against both of them and you stood into both of them, it's not even a conversation. Like it genuinely isn't. It's a complete mismatch to Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard one-on-one, mano to Scholes. It's not even a comparison. He would obliterate him, right?
Scholes said that same though.
Well, the only thing that Scholes played in arguably a better side with a better manager.
That's not arguable, that's a fact, isn't it?
Well, Gerrard also played with, we spoke about it in there, with Mascherano, Alonso and Gerrard, who I played against a few times. That was as good fucking midfield as any you can think of. The other side of that was maybe a couple of players in key slots under that, and I think Stephen speaks about it. They don't know how they haven't won a league a few times. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, you need an unbelievable manager and you need every slot to be in place, which Man United and Arsenal at that time and Chelsea had, which Liverpool never. And obviously football's a team game, not an individual game. I can't believe there's people out there who actually think that Paul Scholes was a better player than Gerrard.
I think it's this modern fan who's
they haven't seen them play.
That's it.
But also there's loads of lads who did watch them play, and again, it's football opinions. See it, Lampard, and you go, well, Lampard's goals stand the test of time.
I don't know many who watched them play who actually agree. Even speaking to Evertonians, most Evertonians I know go, nah, what Steven Gerrard was fucking head and shoulders. That's everyone I know. So I'm like, I don't speak to many. It's only these kids on the internet who say, no, Paul Scholes was this, he was that. Oh, but Paul Scholes won all this. So that doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Swap Steven Gerrard and Paul Scholes at that period. Man United still win the same. Steven Gerrard wins all what Paul Scholes done. Paul Scholes doesn't win what Steven Gerrard won at Liverpool. He just doesn't. He's not that kind of player. He doesn't carry us in the Champions League final. He doesn't win an FA Cup on his own. So that the argument ended there for me anyway.
I can't. I usually disagree with you. I can't disagree with you on that. So on that, me and Cambo agreeing.
Fucking hell, we're agreeing on something, yeah.
We're agreeing on something. So that's been episode 8 of Full English. Hope you've enjoyed it. Remember, like, subscribe, click to follow. We've got to keep building this community bigger to fight these fucking dick Swedes that currently exist amongst us. Thanks for joining in. See you Monday.